Last year I decided I wanted to get fit. Now the problem I've always had is inconsistency. Now sometimes that's been laziness and procrastination, but more often than not it's because life's simply gotten in the way. And so here I am 1 year later, heavier than I was this time last year. And in fact, a couple of months ago, I was at the heaviest point I've been in over 5 years. So the question beggars, what went wrong? So before I recorded my first video last year, I was comfortable with jogging 5K. And I would do that probably 2-3 times a week. So I certainly wasn't going into this with absolutely no experience of cardio. Now, strength-wise, I did have some weights from years before. And in 2023, I kind of had a phase of going through all of those social media challenges using body weight. So 100 push-ups a day, 200 squats a day, bring Sally up, bring Sally down. And I ended up damaging the tendon right here on my elbow. It's called golfer's elbow. And if you're a runner, it's basically the same thing as having an Achilles injury. It's just on your forearms, which means that you can't actually grip anything. So I enhanced my body to the level where I couldn't even carry a bag of shopping. Now the diet element didn't really bother me too much because I'd done a fairly dramatic body transformation in my late teens. I'd actually gone from 16 stone down to 11 stone in around about 12 to 18 months. So what actually did go wrong? Well, let's take each of these elements in turn. First off, jumping up from 5K to 5 miles. So I started out quite easily by just using a treadmill, putting your headphones on, listen to music, watch a movie, get it done. After the first week, I did notice a couple of issues. The first one being hunger. When you increase your exercise up to something like 5 miles a day, when you're pretty much coming from nothing, you get hungry. Because of that, it caused me to bin off all of the diet element. But my logic was, as long as I can build a foundation of fitness, I can pick up the diet later on in the year. The second issue with running 5 miles a day was the amount of shock and impact to the body. It's a funny old thing because you do tend to forget how painful these things are. Everything's always really good when you're sat on a comfy sofa. When you're actually doing it every day, it's not quite as comfortable. So when you start adding weights to a cardio routine like running, probably cycling as well, to be honest, you can kind of rule out leg day. The idea of doing squats or deadlifts when you're running 5 miles a day, it's just not going to happen. And the last thing you need when you're doing anything like that is to give yourself any other reasons not to get out there and do your cardio. And so because of that, my strength training started to slip. So by the time we got to February, I kind of dropped 2 of the 3 main elements that I wanted to focus on for the year, weight training and diet. So I was a little bit concerned. And on top of that, I developed what felt like a perpetual cold. I just went from cold to another cold to another cold. And I couldn't tell whether that was my body telling me to slow down or I was just really, really unlucky. And there's a video of me online from last year, I think it was week 6, where I'm pretty down on myself, I'm pretty down on everything, just not really motivated to carry on. And there was a tiny part of my brain that said, well, this is easy. You can just bin off this channel, forget about it, with only one slight drawback. And that slight drawback, of course, was that I actually wanted to get fit, which is why at the end of the day, I needed to establish a goal and agreed to the Hadrian's Wall Challenge, which forced me to do half marathons, then full marathons and ultramarathons before, of course, completing the full 82 miles of Hadrian's Wall, all of which can be found on the channel if you want to see how I progressed. So with all that said, what tangible benefits did I actually get from doing a full year of exercise? So in my early 30s, I had my card marked by a GP saying that I was going to need to go on blood pressure tablets. And at the start of last year, it was sat at around about 130, 134, 135 over 80. So after 1 year of training, what is it now? Drum roll, please. Now it is a consistent 100 over 60. Now, by all accounts, that is a night and day transformation without any kind of medication. So my resting heart rate when I started out last year was around about 45 to 50. I think the average adult heart rate from looking online is around about 60 to 100. As of today, my heart rate is currently somewhere between 40 and 44. Now, reducing your resting heart rate is usually a good indicator that you have strengthened your heart. And taking that into account with my blood pressure being reduced, hopefully, fingers crossed, that means I've actually helped improve and reduce my risk of heart disease, which again is probably one of the top killers in my family. So what did I actually do exercise-wise last year? So from 1st of January to 1st of January, 24 to 25, I recorded 215 activities, a total of 304 hours, covering a distance of 1,883 miles, burning a grand total of 161,000 calories last year, which is not something I can really get my head around, to be honest with you. Now, strength training wise, I use an app called FitNotes on my phone. It is a free app. It is no frills. It kind of just does reps and sets. But looking through that, did 137 workouts, which is a lot more than I thought. 1,355 sets, 13,000 reps. And weight-wise, I don't really lift heavy, to be honest with you. But I managed to shift 293,330 kilos. As a value, it means absolutely nothing, but it sounded really impressive. It certainly looked very impressive, so I thought I'd add it in here. So how do I feel after doing a full year of exercise? So all in all, I feel pretty good. It is, of course, my only benchmark. It's the first year where I've done like a consistent, dedicated year to fitness and exercise. So I suppose the final question is really that vanity one. Do I physically look any different? Now, because I see myself in the mirror every day, I don't think I've really changed that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the garage, take some shots of what I look like now, and put up a comparison of what could possibly be the most underwhelming 12-month transformation ever. And I can be confident in the fact that of the 50 people that will probably watch this, only 5 will make it to the end. So let's see how this goes.